Hold up, this is not the video. We actually shot this quite a while ago before the movie actually came out, but call it laziness, procrastination, whatever. We just couldn't edit it and put it out in time. But we at the Collector Life really loved the movie, and it just showed how the character from the comics is carried out in the movie, and it's an amazing watch. Do watch it and tell us in the comments how you liked it. On to the video. Cheers!
What's up, guys?
Hello
Welcome
there.
to the Collector Life. This is Nihal Gopinathan.
Dheeraj Sharma once again.
And today, we have something very special for you. It's not a review, it's a Character 101. What's a Character 101?
Character 101. The place where you can learn everything about your comic books, everything about comic book movies, collectibles, and then go out and show off to your noob friends or your collectible friends or your comic book reader friends and tell them that you also know your stuff.
Exactly. And with the movie release just a few weeks away, the character which we thought of starting off with is Shazam! Woo! Yeah, I'm feeling the energy already, although I don't have any of the powers, sorry. But yes, so Shazam, one of the most interesting characters in the DC universe.
Totally.
And I'll begin with a little history about Shazam.
Let's go.
You know what? He wasn't even a DC character originally. He belonged to Fawcett Comics and he was known as Captain Marvel, the original Captain
The
That's
OG.
what. So Fawcett Comics introduced him in a series of comics called Viz Comics way back in 1939. Alright? Now, at the same time, this was pre-World War, by the way, World War II. So at the same time, DC was also very popular at the same time. What they found out is that Shazam comics was selling more than their Superman comics.
Surprising.
Surprising. But he was very popular during World War II. When we come to his villains, you'll know why.
Of course.
So DC said, okay, we'll play this game. They slapped a copyright infringement on Fawcett Comics, telling them that, boss, this guy's powers are exactly like Superman's. You cannot just label him as something different and call him Shazam or Captain Marvel or whatever. You have to, give the character to us. The problem is, after that, this little battle lasted till about, let's say 1950s, I think 1953.
Around a decade or so.
1953, after the World War, people noticed that the sales of Captain Marvel comics were dropping steadily. His popularity was on the wane. So even Fawcett Comics thought, okay, maybe it's a good deal to, settle it out of court with DC, give them the character. But now a new complication had arisen. DC's biggest competitor, Marvel, had another comic book title running at the same time, which was also Captain Marvel. So DC couldn't publish the character. They had to redo his origins, redo his name, and finally, in 1972, they came out with this character called Shazam. Shazam, S-H-A-Z-A-M. And it's an acronym, by the way, which we'll come to in a while. But, that's basically the history. It's had a bit of a checkered history. But, 1972, he eventually came home to DC Comics. And that's where he's been, for the rest of his life till now.
Yeah, he started out as Nihal just told you about in the comics known as Captain Marvel. That's what he was originally called, and since they couldn't brand it that way, the first issue was known as Shazam, the original Captain Marvel. Now for the origins of this amazing character that is Shazam, we start out with, like every other superhero origin story, a young kid whose parents are killed off by their assistant. He's left to fend on the streets. His uncle kicks him out, takes all of his inheritance. But one day, he meets a cloaked figure that takes him to the end of the subway, which he has never seen. And that, standing right there, is a train which has hieroglyphics all over it. They sit inside the train. They go to the deep insides of the earth. They go to the depth of the earth where the wizard Shazam is sitting. So, he comes across all of these statues of the 7 deadly sins that are the enemies of man. And that is when the wizard tells him now you are one of pure heart. So, I'll tell you, I'll remind you, this is way back in the 40s. So people were still pure of heart then. So, the wizard is like, you are one of pure heart. I will bestow upon you my powers. Just speak my name. And that's how the character was born. He spoke his name and, the wizard almost died almost immediately. But he came back in later issues as a ghost and made his friend, his handicapped friend, Junior, Captain Marvel Junior. What was his name again? Freddie Freeman.
Yeah,
Freddie Freeman. That is Captain Marvel Junior. Then he had the whole Shazam, or then known as the Marvel family.
Captain Marvel family.
Yeah, Captain Marvel family. His sister was named as Mary Marvel. Yeah. So this was a whole family, and that's how I remember Shazam, because if I'm not wrong, there was an animated series when we were kids, and that's how I remember these characters, and of course they still stick to me. So to speak about an updated set of origins for the New 52 for the modern sensibilities, that when DC relaunched all of its characters, even Shazam got a new origin where he was a homeless kid who was taken in by a foster family. He was quite of a jerk then. He rejected his foster family, was rude to them, but deep down he felt some regret for being that rude. For some, to someone who took him in, showed him some love. So that's when you realize that the person, that the person has some good heart in them. And once again, he was running away from some bullies. He got into a subway station, into a subway car, which took him into another whole palace, into another depth of the earth, which revealed the entire palace. And in this case, it was the Rock of Eternity, where the wizard Shazam was sitting. Again, he was introduced to the 7 deadly sins of man, and the whole roller coaster again, and that's how he became Shazam. To speak about the powers, well, now let me tell you, Shazam, this is not actually just some name or some random word you speak. It's actually an acronym, like Nihal earlier mentioned. Shazam stands for these things: S, the wisdom of Solomon; H, the strength of Hercules;
Exactly.
A, the stamina of Atlas, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly.
The power of Zeus is Z. The courage of Achilles is again A, and the speed of Mercury. So that's how he gets all of these powers. Yep. He's basically, a powerhouse of all of these Greek gods' powers combined together, and that's what makes him the world's mightiest mortal. Powers that can rival Superman's powers. And if you know, Superman has one weakness among many, that is magic. So this guy can conjure up some real magic. And if you know, his arch nemesis, Death Adams, we also know him as Black Adam, used to be the original champion of the wizard Shazam. So him and his arch nemesis, and like a lot of characters in DC, are equally matched. So when he also speaks the name Shazam, he gets powered up with all of these qualities. So that makes him a very formidable opponent to Shazam. Actually, don't you think so?
He's also a very formidable opponent for Superman as well. There was this. I'll come to that later, but there was this animated series where Black Adam actually takes on both Superman and Shazam at the same time. And boy, he's powerful. That guy is powerful.
Also, the person who killed his parents in the origin story, Death Adams, is revealed to be Death Adams, and that is Black Adam. So it all kind of ties down into the origin story, just like Flash and Reverse Flash. I love these kind of things, little tidbits that these writers had. And so to speak about what else, we have our villains for him.
Villains, yes. We already spoke about Death Adams. This is Black Adam. There's also a Dr. Thaddeus Sivana.
Yeah. So keep watch for him. Mark Strong.
Yeah. We're really looking forward to the movie for him.
Yes.
Then obviously you have the Monster Society of Evil.
Of course.
Where all the 7 evils come together as a team. Then I guess the other usual, the DC.
Oh, Mr. Mind, we have Mr.
Mind, yes. Oh, how can I forget
And of course, as we said, this is a pre-World War II character. One of his enemies is Mr. Nazi, Captain Nazi.
Which is why he was popular during
that time. And people loved during that time when it was World War II. America versus everything was against the Nazis. So they actually created a character just like Marvel had Captain America versus Hitler and Hydra. This had Captain Marvel versus
Captain Nazi.
Captain Nazi. Quite ironic and quite similar, but well, it was funny that time. To speak about, what do you call it? Maybe you want to give them some reading recommendations, I guess.
Oh yes. Yeah, and now if you want to get started off with Shazam, there are a few comics that you can read. If you can get the Viz Comics #2, the earliest comic of Captain Marvel, where he was introduced, that will give you an idea of his origins. Then of course, New 52 Volume 1, very important if you want to come up to date with his revised origins.
And I guess that's the one they'll be very closely following
in the movie as well. So yeah,
with the exception of Black Adam.
Yeah, obviously, but do a bit of reading if you want to be cool during the movie. And then of course, one of the most important storylines featuring Shazam, Kingdom Come.
Oh,
I'll be talking about that in a while, but that's one of DC's greatest storylines ever. You should definitely get a copy of that if you haven't. Then of course we have Power of Hope, the first Thunder, Superman, Shazam, and the Monster Society of Evil, the villains I was talking about. These are some of the main comics that you should read. There were also a few animated movies as well, if I'm not mistaken. Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. This is the one where I told you Black Adam takes on both Superman and Shazam at the same time, and he almost proves to be too good for them. Then Justice League War, Throne of Atlantis.
He was introduced again.
He was introduced again.
New 52
and Justice League Action. So these are a few of the animated movies and comics that you should
Justice League Action actually, sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
Justice League Action actually is this new TV show that came out recently. It looks very kiddish in its art style, but actually it's a pretty fun.
It's a pretty good show.
It's a pretty fun show that you can watch. It has an episode about Shazam in it. So please check that out if you are into watching animated series. You'll definitely like it. And if you want to talk about the final thing that is there right in front of us are these amazing Shazam collectibles. Let me give you, a 360 degree of what we have here. Nihal, would you mind speaking about it?
Yeah, so this statue right here is from the comic book Kingdom Come, and even this figure right here, you can see this action figure. They're both from the same storyline. These are based on the art of Alex Ross, the god, and this particular statue here is one of my personal favorites because it shows us Billy Batson transforming into Shazam. This is from Iron Studios, and it's based on the art of Ivan Rice, who's again another kick-ass artist.
Yes, he is.
So
there's a lot of new figurines coming in. DC Collectibles had their new 52 Shazam action figure and Justice League War action figure, which are quite rare to get these days, just like these statues right here. But you can still pursue them. This is by DC Direct. Both of these, the statue and this figure are by DC Direct. This is from the Kingdom Come line. This is a companion piece to a Superman statue in the same line.
Yes,
you have that, right?
I have that too. It's amazing.
And this is also starting to become a rare commodity.
The Iron Studios.
Yeah, it's a hot property, and they're also releasing the Black Adam, which you're getting, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he is getting it.
Collectibles.
Do you want to tell them about the limited edition?
The Kingdom Come. Yes, this particular one, as you can see, is written here. World's Mightiest Mortal, because that's exactly who Shazam is. I also got a certificate of authenticity along with it, as you can see here, and I'll just read it out for you, just to give you a little gist of Kingdom Come. With powers granted to him by an ancient wizard, young Billy Batson had but to speak the old sorcerer Shazam's name to be transformed into the world's mightiest mortal. Though he was given his powers to fight for good, he was co-opted by those who labored for evil in the groundbreaking Kingdom Come comic book series, leading to an epic battle with Superman that determined the fate of the world.
Oh, those issues are amazing.
Yes, so this is why I say you should read Kingdom Come. And then it's a bit of information about the statue itself. The Kingdom Come Shazam full color statue is hand painted, cold cast porcelain statue depicting the world's mightiest mortal as he appeared in Kingdom Come, standing on a base with a brass nameplate designed and sculpted by Kingdom Come artist Alex Ross. This statue is approximately 9.5 inches tall. It's also a numbered statue. It's only 1,500 pieces in the world. This is number 330.
Ooh, that's a high edition.
Yeah, high edition number. And it's a limited edition of 1,500 pieces, as I already said. So that's it about the statue, this particular statue.
Yes.
Now
if you, just not into statues and are into figures, then maybe you could go for this.
Then this is the DC Direct Kingdom Come line Shazam, and this also doesn't have it's a beautiful depiction of Shazam from Kingdom Come.
This is from a comic panel. Actually, it's from the one spread page where
Superman is sprawled on the ground like this, looking at him.
Yeah, this is his introduction in the final battle of the whole story towards the climax, where everyone realizes that Shazam is the one that they're going to fight. So he's just standing out right there,
and he's smiling at Superman,
and that's after that when they start their own battle.
Exactly, and what a battle it was.
Yes.
So this is a depiction of that, pretty accurate. I mean, Alex Ross, pretty nice, and as you can see, the little cape at the back.
I love me some classic costume, dude. I don't as much as they.
One thing you will notice though in the Kingdom Come line is that the emblem, the lightning emblem, is slightly dark. even here, compared to the Ivan Rice Shazam,
The gold is slightly muted on the Kingdom Come
because
line.
Kingdom Come, the story itself was so dark.
And Alex
even
Ross
even Superman had a black and
black
red
symbol. And Alex
symbol.
Ross is known to base his designs and his artwork on a lot of reality and real proportions and real color and real lighting. So I think that's a very wise choice on his part to keep it a bit muted.
Yeah.
And only light it up when the lightning strikes.
Exactly. This one is more suited to the the lighter comic books, which Ivan Rice has done.
Exactly
like this over here. And I like this one personally because it shows us Billy Batson as well.
Yes.
This is his transformation from Billy Batson to Shazam, and I think that's really cool. That's
how this first issue was also issue cover was also like that. He's transforming into from Billy Batson to Shazam. Also, if you are interested in starting to collect Shazam action figures, so maybe you could go for this. This is the latest line by DC Essentials, which is a 2-pack. So DC earlier had a line known as the DC Icons line, where they introduced Black Adam, but the line was cancelled before Shazam could be introduced. So eventually they went ahead and did a 2-pack for both of these. They don't come with accessories per se, which is sad, but you can see they're possibly one of the same figure out here with just different costumes. That is one reason I don't like the new design launch of Shazam, but well, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Say.
And I kind of like the Black Adam in this.
Yeah, the Black Adam's pretty nice.
Pretty
the design suits him pretty well, but yeah, it does not translate well to Shazam, is what I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is amazing. There's a good set to collect. This is a good place to start, and it's available at
Nerd Arena. Right now. Thank you for letting us shoot here.
Thank you for letting us shoot here.
It's always a pleasure to be around and shooting in your place.
Yeah.
I guess anything else you want to tell them, or we'll be good with.
Well, we're good. Go watch the movie that's coming out on April 3rd.
Let us know how you like it. Tell us in the comments below.
And let us know if you want to know about any other characters that you'd like us to do.
We would love to keep doing this character 101. So, we spread our nerdiness, geekiness all over the place. I guess that's about it. Catch you later.
Catch you later, guys.
Shazam! That subway took him to the deep ends, to the depth of the earth, and can we not do that?